Captain Mara Vance's fingers tightened on her command chair as the UNSS Phantom ripped into real space. Coalition dreadnoughts loomed on the main holoscreen, their plasma lances charging in unison. The blockade's heart pulsed with kill-sats and fighter swarms, 24 capital ships, all aimed at the human interloper that shouldn't exist. "Status!" Vance snapped. Sensors pinged clean. No pursuit signatures trailed them from the jump lane. The Phantom's black-budget shroud held for now. Commander Ilex Juno leaned into her TAC console, eyes flicking across threat vectors. "Blockade confirms our position. They're spinning up interdiction fields. ETA to full net closure, 90 seconds. Vance nodded once. The warship's official non-existence bought them surprise, but not survival. Coalition doctrine demanded decapitation strikes on ghosts like this. Helm, silent running, plot evasive through the mine debris corridor, Sector 7, maximum stealth profile. "Aye, Captain." Ensign Rao's hands danced over controls. Thrusters whispered the Phantom forward, engines cold and dark. The ship ghosted into the wreckage of a shattered moonlet, twisted hulks laced with proximity mines from the last skirmish. Vance watched the corridor narrow on screen. Jagged debris spun lazily, each fragment a potential detonator. Coalition sensors would struggle here, but one wrong nudge. Juno straightened. "Incoming interdiction net confirmed, gravitic webs deploying from flanks. They've tagged us, plotted a knife-edge gap, 0.3 light seconds wide. We thread it or we burn." "Thread it," Vance said. "Push the plot to helm." Rao swallowed. "Course locked. Gap holds for 40 seconds. The Phantom accelerated, hull groaning under inertial dampers. Mines gleamed in the shadows, their EMP warheads dormant, until proximity woke them. Admiral Carrot Voss's command deck erupted in chaos. The human ship blinked into existence like a glitch in the universe. His Kragari battlecruisers formed the blockade's core, Vorthax heavies on the wings. "Impossible," Voss growled, mandibles clicking. "Humans bluffed. Always. This Phantom was propaganda vaporware per intel, yet there it was, dodging into the debris field. All ships converge fire. Decapitation protocol, erase it before it broadcasts." Weapons officers chorused affirmatives. Lances spat azure bolts, carving debris ahead of the intruder. Mines activated in sequence, a glittering trap. Vance felt the deck shudder. "Report." "EMP mine graze," Lieutenant Selene Park called from damage control. Her team patched feeds via suit comms. Port Nacelle took the pulse. Primary power buses fried. Backup cold start initiated. "Do it fast, Lieutenant." Vance kept her voice level. Park's crews swarmed the affected bays, lasers sealing micro-breaches while magboots clamped them to bulkheads. Park yanked a panel, rerouting quantum conduits by hand. Sparks flew. "Bus 1 online, rerouting auxiliary flow, hull integrity 94%. We're blind on forward arrays till Bus 2 spins up." Juno's console beeped. "Net gap collapsing. Coalition heavies bracketing us, lance fire inbound. Recommend micro-jump, Captain, blind insertion, 2 light seconds coreward." Vance weighed it. Micro-jumps tore at the drive core, risked decoherence, but the net's gravitics would shred them otherwise. "Dr. Kwon, your assessment?" The weapons architect rose from his shadowed station, face calm behind thick glasses. His forbidden systems, treaty band phase shifters and null field projectors, hummed dormant in the Phantom's belly. "Core can handle 1 jump, Captain, but authorization required for post-jump protocols. Granted if we live." Vance stabbed the commit key. "Helm micro-jump on my mark, 3, 2, 1, jump." Reality folded. The Phantom punched through folded space, emerging inside the interdiction net's nexus. Coalition cruisers ringed them point-blank, lances hot and hungry. Voss slammed a claw on his armrest. Human jump tech unreliable, suicidal, yet the ghost ship materialized amid his heavies untouched. "Full barrage, fighters alpha strike." Plasma storms lashed the Phantom's shields. Alarms wailed. Park's voice cut through. "Bus 2 hot, power restored, shields at 60%. Rerouting to forward emitters." "Good work," Vance said. "Juno, firing solutions." "Locked on lead dreadnought." Juno's fingers blurred. "But their net's folding us in. We need an out." Kwon cleared his throat. "Captain, null field projector primed. It phases our hull intangible, renders us immune to kinetics and energy for 30 seconds. Treaty violation, but..." Vance met his gaze. The weapon rewrote rules. Coalition fleets dominated with massed fire, humans innovated around it. "Authorize fire on my order." Voss's scopes showed the human ship twist unnaturally like smoke and wind. His barrage splashed harmless, shields held but no counterfire. Bluff, press the kill, all lances overload. The Phantom shuddered under impacts. Park sealed a plasma vent, sweat beating in 0G. Breaches contained, give me 10 seconds for shield region. Juno plotted frantically. Their command nets exposed, Voss's flagship dead ahead, one volley cracks it. Vance stood. Quan, projector now. Deep in the engineering vaults, Quan's arrays thrummed. Phase shifters engaged. The Phantom's hull shimmered, molecules decohering into a probabilistic haze. Incoming lances passed through empty space. Fighters vaporized on Phantom afterimages. Voss's bridge lit with warnings. What sorcery? Sensors read vacuum where the ship stands. It's there, his sensor chief hissed. Phased state, human black tech, treaty forbidden. Dreadnoughts wheeled in panic, nets unraveling as captains broke formation. The Ghost fired, railguns spat hyperdense slugs at lightspeed, phasing real mid-flight. Voss's forward heavies crumpled, reactors blooming into fireballs. Vance watched the holoscreen bloom with kills. Cease projector, conventional barrage all batteries. Torpedoes leaped from tubes, corkscrewing through debris. Coalition ships jinked, their superior maneuverability shining, but human targeting math predicted every vector. Park whooped from below. Shields green, hull nominal. Juno grinned coldly. Flagship crippled. Blockade fracturing, their rethinking engagement. Voss clutched his console as bulkheads buckled. Humans didn't dominate, they adapted. His fleet scattered, deterrence shattered. Survival demanded retreat. Captain, Juno said, they're peeling off, Voss signaling parley. Vance sat back, pulse steady. The Phantom's secret endured for now. But the galaxy just learned humans hid sharper teeth. A new ping lit the board, reinforcements inbound, coalition carriers twice the mass. Helm, evasive pattern delta, Vance ordered. Juno, next gap. The warship vanished into the debris once more, a shadow rewriting the stars. Plasma conduits screamed under strain. Lieutenant Park slammed her fist on the damage control panel. Rerouting auxiliary power to forward shields, hold together, you bastard. Captain Mara Vance gripped her command chair. The holoscreen swarmed with new contacts. Coalition carriers, 3 behemoths twice the Phantom's mass, disgorging fighter wings like angry hornets. Voss's crippled flagship limped behind them, coordinating from afar. Sensors painted the volley building, timed saturation fire, a wall of plasma lances and seeker missiles designed to flush ghosts from hiding. They're forcing us out, Commander Juno said, fingers flying over her tactical console. Her voice cut cold through the red klaxons. Predictive algorithms locked on our last phase shift residue. Impact in 90 seconds. Vance nodded once. Launch decoy drones, full signature mimicry, split their solutions. Helm officer punched the command. Drones rocketed from ventral bays, holographic emitters blazing. Each mimicked the Phantom's exact gravitic footprint, engine flare, and M signature. 8 ghosts now danced through the debris field, corkscrewing in randomized patterns Juno had precomputed. Coalition fire erupted. Lances stabbed the void, seekers blooming into fractal pursuit webs. 2 drones vaporized instantly, feeding false debris signatures back to enemy sensors. The carriers adjusted, volleys fracturing as targeting nets divided. Juno's console chirped. Their prediction software's forking, overloaded by 30%, keep them guessing. But the barrage thickened. Missiles pierced the decoy screen, one grazing the Phantom's aft quarter. Park's teams swarmed the breach below decks, mag seals hissing as atmosphere vented. Hull breach contained, Park reported over comms. Shields at 62%. We can take another hit, but not a volley. Vance's eyes narrowed on the holotank. Voss played for keeps, a decapitation strike to erase the non-existent warship before it shattered his blockade. The Admiral believed humans bluffed, time to prove him wrong without showing the full hand. Juno, stagger point defense, pulses sync to their software refresh cycles. Aye, Captain. Juno overlaid firing schedules on the plot. Railgun turrets and laser clusters pulsed in microsecond bursts, not continuous streams, but jagged rhythms that defied coalition AI predictions. Enemy seekers detonated prematurely, shredded by invisible kill zones. Fighters jinked into the traps, frames crumpling under kinetic hail. One carrier loomed closer, its spinal mount charging a megaton-yield particle beam. Vance felt the deck thrum as the Phantom accelerated, evasive delta weaving through tumbling wreckage. "Doctor!" "Quan to the bridge," Vance ordered. The weapons architect appeared moments later, his lab coat smeared with coolant residue. Quiet eyes scanned the holoscreen. "Superweapon status?" Vance asked. Quan shook his head. "Phasic disruptor is at 80% charge. But early auth risks cascade failure. Treaty forbiddens don't play nice with debris fields. We go conventional first." Juno shot him a glare. "Conventional gets us slagged. Their mass outguns us 5-1. "Precisely." Quan's voice stayed even. "Disruptor needs clean vector. Force the gap now or we lose the ship." Vance weighed it. Impossible odds were checklists. "Conventional it is. All batteries, targeted alpha strikes. Prioritize carrier engines." Torpedoes leaped from the Phantom's tubes, corkscrewing through countermeasures. Coalition point defense lit the void, but Juno's staggered pulses created blind spots. Human math turned alien agility into predictable arcs. Fighters evaded where software said they wouldn't. Torpedoes slipped the net. The lead carrier shuddered. Dual warheads punched its engine nacelles, fusion blooms erupting. It listed, venting plasma. Fighters scattered, their swarm discipline cracking. Voss's voice crackled over open-channel, guttural alien syllables translated by the ship's lingual net. "Human vessel, this is Admiral Carrot Voss. Your Phantom tricks end here. Surrender phased tech or we glass your hull." Vance keyed the comm. "Admiral, your blockade's fracturing. Rethink your math." His response snarled through static. "Bluffers die first." Fresh volleys hammered out, carriers regrouping for a hammer blow. Park's voice cut in. "Shields dropping 40%, rerouting from life support. Buy us time." The Phantom phased briefly, projectors whining to slip a seeker swarm. Reality blurred at the edges, debris passed through hull plates like mist. But the field destabilized under debris stress, flickering back solid too soon. A lance scored the dorsal armor, alarms wailing. Juno plotted furiously. "Gap opening starboard, their heavies can't cover it without exposing Voss. Helm hard to starboard, Quan arm secondaries." Quan nodded, authorizing railgun overcharges from his console. Slugs accelerated to lightspeed, phasing mid-flight just like before. They ignored shields, materializing inside coalition armor. Vance watched the holoscreen bloom red. A carrier's bridge module crumpled. Fighters vaporized on proximity fuses. Voss's flagship jinked desperately, but human targeting predicted the vector. Rails punched through its command deck. Coalition comms erupted in chaos. Alien captains barked overrides, formations unraveling. The remaining carrier peeled off, engines flaring for retreat. "They're breaking," Juno said, a rare smile cracking her face. "Voss signaling parley again." Vance leaned forward. "Hold fire, open channel." Voss's holographic form flickered into view, his scaled face etched with fury and dawning fear. Bridge fires raged behind him. "Captain, Vance, your ship defies scans, phased hulls, treaty violations. The Coalition will." "Will what, Admiral?" Vance cut in. "Your fleet's down 40%. Ours is nominal. Deterrence works both ways." His claws flexed. "You hide weapons that rewrite wars. We erase you now or the balance shifts." Park chimed in from engineering. "Shields regenerating, hull patches holding, we're good for round 2. Juno fed Vance fresh plots, more coalition signatures inbound, but hours out. Voss's reinforcements bought time, not victory. Quan murmured, "Disruptor at 95, your call." Vance studied Voss. The Admiral's eyes darted, calculating retreat, survival under fire. Humans didn't dominate, they forced rethink. "Stand down, Admiral," Vance said. "Parley terms, vacate the zone. Live to fight treaties another day." Silence stretched. Voss's bridge crew shouted in the background. Finally he rasped, "Terms accepted. But this isn't over. The galaxy learns of your teeth." The hologram winked out. Carriers turned tail, fighters recalled. The debris field fell quiet, save for the Phantom's humming systems. Vance exhaled. "Secure from action. Park full damage assessment. Juno plot exfil." But sensors pinged anew, not Coalition. A human relay drone, encrypted, burst from command. "Phantom actual auth Sigma 9. New orders intercept K-Zari supply convoy sector 7. Ghost protocol engaged." Juno's brow furrowed. "They're sending us deeper. Voss will warn them." Vance rose. "Then we vanish cleaner. Dr. Quan, disruptor test window." He nodded. "Ready on your mark." The Phantom's engines thrummed, slipping into phase once more. Coalition scouts scanned empty space, lances chasing Phantoms. Humans won without the biggest gun, yet, deeper in system, the convoy waited oblivious. Voss's warning raced ahead, but too late. The ghost ship hunted. Alarms blared anew on the bridge. Sensors locked a massive shadow, Khazari battlecruisers escorting the convoy twice Voss's mass. No time for subtlety. Phase out, Vance ordered. Juno, target profiles. Enemy fire lanced first, saturation to pin the intruder. But drones deployed seamless, splitting locks. Point defense staggered, seekers dying in droves. Quan hesitated at his console. Superweapon? Not yet. Vance's voice steel. Conventional forces the gap. Torpedoes flew, rails phased and struck. Escorts crumpled, convoy scattering. Convoy commander hailed, voice booming. Unknown vessel identify, this is Coalition Protectorate. Vance smiled thinly. Ghosts don't answer. The Phantom danced through the firestorm, park ceiling microbreaches, Juno rewriting predictions. Khazari agility shone, they jinked like specters, but human math closed the noose. One battlecruiser detonated, chain reaction rippling the convoy. Cargo holds vented munitions, lighting the void. They're routing, Juno reported. Gap wide open. Vance keyed weapons. Boarding parties prep, secure the hull. Marines in exosuits jetted across, mag clamps biting hulls. Park's teams synced with them, hacking airlocks under fire. Coalition resistance buckled. Survivors surrendered, eyes wide at the phased intruders walking through bulkheads. Back on bridge, Quan monitored. Disruptor stable, no cascades. Vance nodded. Good, transmit hull manifest to command, helm phase jump to rally point. The Phantom faded from scopes, convoy prizes in tow. Voss's Admiral Carrot Voss slammed his primary claw on the command dais. Alarms wailed across his flagship's bridge. Sensors screamed of a human raid, Khazari convoy gutted, prizes vanishing into phase shift ghosts. Phantom confirmed, his sensor chief rasped. Single corvette class now jumping. But manifests show munitions hauls intact, tractored away. Voss's mandibles clicked fury. Humans didn't raid like this. They bluffed, skulked. This Phantom was a myth, a sensor glitch to mask cowards. Coalition intelligence swore no such ship existed. He would prove it. Full fleet vector to intercept vector, Voss barked. Cruisers Alpha and Beta flank speed. We decapitate this insect before it bites again. His fleet, 4 heavy cruisers, 8 destroyers, missile tenders in tow, accelerated. Battle cruisers formed the van, point defense grids humming. Voss eyed the plot. Human rally point lay dead ahead in the war zone's contested drift. Ghost protocols active, the human tactical officer's voice echoed in intercepted chatter. Voss sneered, bluffers. Then sensors lit up. A human carrier group materialized on scopes, 5 behemoths, fighter swarms blooming, escorted by destroyers. Mass readings tripled Voss's tonnage. Telemetry flooded, IFF codes, engine signatures, weapon locks. Impossible, the sensor chief choked. They phased in from null space, carriers deploying CAP. Voss's spines bristled. Humans hid carriers? No, this rewrote everything. But position favored him, flankers could pincer. Reposition cruisers, he ordered. Alpha brackets port Phantoms, Beta starboard. Destroyers screen tenders. Rear batteries cold, concentrate fire forward. Cruisers burned thrust, sliding into bracket formation. Destroyers wove protective webs. Missile tenders lagged, rear screens thin, reload bays exposed. Voss committed, proved the bluff. On Phantom's bridge, Commander Ilex Juno's fingers danced over consoles. Spoof complete. Empty void now read as carrier armada to every coalition scope within light minutes. They're buying it, Juno said, voice ice calm. Cruisers bracketing ghosts. Rear exposed, tenders dead center. Captain Mara Vance gripped her command chair. Plot showed the gap. A knife slash in enemy formation, tenders fat and vulnerable. Odds 4-to-1 mass disadvantage. Checklist. Helm, thread the needle, Vance said. Evasive spiral, max burn. Quan, standoff missiles hot. Conventional salvo only. Lieutenant Selene Park monitored damage grids from her station. Hull integrity green post-raid. Reactor hummed steady. Phantom surged. Phased hull flickered, bending sensor ghosts. Coalition fire erupted, lance batteries stabbing empty space. Carriers returned fire in spoofed data, but real rails stayed cold. Voss watched Phantoms hold formation. Carriers launched fighters, dozens blotting scopes. His cruisers poured plasma into the illusion. Returns pinged solid hits. Debris clouds bloomed on sensors. Carriers buckling, his weapons officer crowed. But tenders report locks, missiles inbound. Voss's optics narrowed, bluff cracking. Evasive for tenders, destroyers countermissile spread. Too late. Real missiles streaked from nowhere, phantoms barrage, standoff range. Warheads phased through rear screens, slamming into a tender's bays. Explosion birthed a sun. Tender ruptured, munitions chaining into plasma hell. Shrapnel peppered escorts. Rear screen vaporized. Gap widening, Juno reported. Tenders scattering, Voss pivoting, Crucier Beta vectoring our true signature. Vance nodded. Park shields priority, helm cut spiral straight burn through debris. Park's hands flew. Enemy counterfire grazed, Lucky Lance punched outer grid. Hull groaned, alarms blared, grid breach plasma venting. Reactor shunt, Park snapped, voice steady under acceleration crush. Rerouting 40% output to forward shields, sealing breach, nanite foam deploying. Power surged. Shields flared blue, absorbing the next volley. Phantom knifed the gap, debris pinging hull like gravel. Voss roared as his tender died. Sensors glitched, carriers fading. No real strike from the void. The Phantom danced through his lines, rails spitting fire. True vector acquired, sensor chief yelled. Single corvette phased, it's real. Mandibles ground. Humans didn't hide, they rewrote reality. His rear gaped. Cruisers tangled in ghosts, destroyers blind. All ships reform on flag, concentrate on the corvette. But Phantom was inside now. Rails hammered a destroyer's engines. It spun helpless. Juno's eyes flicked plots. Voss reforming, but tenders exposed. Second salvo? Not yet, Vance said. Quan status. Dr. Sato Quan hunched at weapons console. Disruptor core pulsed below decks, treaty forbidden, reality warping beam. Stable, but one shot risked cascade. Conventional racks dry in 30, Quan murmured. Disruptor green, authorization, Vance waited. Coalition fleet shattered deterrence. One volley could end Voss. Or expose the weapon, rewrite balance forever. Negative, she said. Park, buy us time. Juno, new spoofs make Voss think reinforcements inbound. Park patched micro-breaches, power flows dancing under her commands. Ship shuddered, another graze. Shields holding 80%. Reactor straining. Juno layered ghosts, fresh carrier waves, fighter storms. Coalition scopes overloaded. Voss punched bulkhead. Phantoms multiplied. His fleet fragmented, cruisers chasing illusions, destroyers picking ghosts. Real losses mounted, tender gone, destroyer crippled. Pull back, he growled. Regroup at Beacon Delta. Humans, they don't fight fair. Flagship thrust reversed, fleet mimicked, breaking contact. Sensors cleared, empty space. No carriers, just the Phantom, fading to phase jump. Voss's comms officer stammered. Intercepts confirm, single ship, they spoofed us. Silence gripped the bridge. Humans turned sensors to lies, deterrence, restraint. Survival now meant rethinking everything. Back on Phantom, Vance exhaled. Damage report, Park straightened. Breaches sealed. Shields recharging, we're intact. Juno smirked. Voss routing, rally point clear. Quan cleared his throat. Disruptor still cold, treaty holds for now. Vance keyed fleet command. Phantom actual, sector secured, coalition deterred, request vectors to next objective. Helm complied, ship phased out, ghosts in wake, but Voss's hail pierced the void. Human vessel, this is Admiral Carrot Voss, you win this round, name your terms. Vance paused, terms, humans didn't dictate, they innovated. Ghosts don't negotiate, she replied, channel cut. Coalition fleet limped away, scopes haunted. One ship rewrote the war. What else hid in human shadows? Admiral Carrot Voss's flagship, the ironclad dreadnought *, Vanguard *, thrust into the kill box at point-blank range. Its plasma lances glowed hot, framing the trap. 20 coalition cruisers and destroyers locked grids on the lone human ship. Phantom, this is Voss, his voice crackled over emergency channels. Your ghosts fooled us once. Surrender your vessel intact. Resist and we erase you from the stars. Final demand. Captain Mara Vance's fingers tightened on her armrest. Bridge screens swarmed with red icons, Vanguard dead center, escorts coiling like predators. Phantom shuddered under interceptor fire. Shields held at 60%. She glanced at Commander Ilex Juno. Tactical assessment. Juno's eyes flicked across holographic overlays. Kill box sealed. They're betting on our phase cloak cooldown, 8 minutes to full evasion. Direct hits incoming in 30 seconds. Her voice stayed flat, fingers dancing over console keys. Ghosts deployed earlier had bought time, but Voss pressed hard now. No retreat in his formation. Damage control? Vance snapped. Lieutenant Cellini Park patched in from engineering. Forward arrays scorching, rerouting power from aux reactors. We buy 2 minutes, maybe 3. Hull integrity 92%. Vance nodded once. Voss thought humans bluffed. Time to unseal the vault. Dr. Quan Bridge, emergency code Alpha 9, arm the sealed bay, now. Static hissed, then Quan's calm tenor responded. Acknowledged, Captain. Spinal disruptor spinning up. Treaty override engaged. A deep hum built through Phantom's keel, vibrating the deck plates. Vance felt it in her bones, the forbidden weapon awakening. Coalition beams stabbed closer. A destroyer salvo grazed the shields, sparks erupting on viewports. Park's voice cut through. Breach in Sector 4, sealing now, evac teams deployed. Alarms wailed. Crews scrambled in the corridors beyond the bridge. Juno leaned forward. Vanguards committing. Main batteries charging for Alpha strike. They want us gutted. Vance kept her gaze locked on the main holodisplay. Voss's fleet formed a perfect noose. Kill velocities matched, escape vectors choked. One wrong move and Phantom became debris. But humans built for this. Helm evasive pattern Delta 5, keep us in the box's throat. Helm officer complied. Phantom jinked, thrusters flaring. Enemy fire chased, clipping a sensor pylon. Park grunted over comms. Lost secondary arrays, compensating with backups, hold her together. Deep in the ship's spine, Dr. Sato Kwon monitored the capacitor coil. Readouts spiked green, then yellow. The disruptor, a treaty-band monster, siphoned gigajoules from the core. Human ingenuity, a beam that warped local physics, unraveling shields and hulls without fallout. But spin-up generated a heat bloom, irreversible. Bridge, Kwon, capacitor at 80%, warning, post-fire signature will light us up like a supernova, they'll track us for parsecs. Confirm authorization, Vance's jaw set. Voss's broadcast looped. Surrender, humans. Your tricks end here. She pictured the alien admiral's bridge, smug certainty. Coalition doctrine prized overwhelming force. Humans turned scarcity into scalpels. Confirm, Doctor, fire on my mark. Juno plotted firing solutions. Optimal window in 10 seconds. Constrain the beam corridor slice through their van, gives us exfil vector. Make it count, Vance said. Park's updates flooded in. Breaches contained, power shunt stable, we're bleeding atmosphere but alive. Coalition destroyers closed to knife fight range. Torpedoes bloomed from tubes, smart seekers curving in. Phantom's point defenses spat lasers, swatting half. The rest hammered shields down to 30%. Hull groaned under acceleration. 9-8, Juno counted. Voss's voice intruded again. Your silence damns you. Vanguard asterisk firing. Dreadnought lances erupted, a wall of plasma that lit the void white. Phantom rolled hard. The beam scorched past, vaporizing a dorsal fin. Alarms screamed cascade failure. Shields critical, Park yelled. Rerouting everything. Mark, Vance slammed the authorization key. Kwon triggered the release. A single pencil-thin beam lanced from Phantom's spine. No flare, no thunder, just a razor of warped reality. It sliced the kill box's heart. Vanguard's forward shields flickered and died. The beam carved a perfect corridor. 3 destroyers bisected, their hulls peeling like foil. Cruisers in the path vented plasma, drives erupting in chain reactions. Debris clouds bloomed, a temporary wall of wreckage. Voss's formation shattered. What sorcery? His channel cut midward as asterisk Vanguard veered, emergency thrusts firing blind. Juno whooped once, then refocused. Corridor open, helm punch it, bearing 040. Phantom surged forward, phase cloak flickering back online. They threaded the gap, ghosts deploying in their wake. Coalition scopes choked on sensor ghosts and fresh debris. Park patched through, heat bloom registering, we're a beacon, but hulls holding, repairs underway. Vance exhaled, eyes on the holodisplay. Voss's fleet recoiled, icons scattering. The Admiral's flagship limped, forward sections dark, no pursuit yet. Status on disruptor, Kwon replied. Offline, cooldown initiated, treaty sensors will flag the signature, expect inquiries. Juno smirked. Voss rethinking deterrence. His kill box is scrapyard. But Voss rallied. His voice pierced the chaos. Humans, that weapon violates accords, stand down or face the galaxy. Vance keyed response. You built the box, Admiral, we just opened a door. Channel mute. Helm reported phase jump ready. Phantom blurred, slipping into slipspace. Clean escape. Yet Voss's scopes burned with the heat echo. On asterisk Vanguard asterisk S bridge, he gripped his console. Scans confirmed, one ship, one shot, half his van gone. Regroup, he barked. Track that bloom, humans hide monsters. His tactical officer stammered. Admiral, that beam, it ignored our alloys, physics bent. Voss stared at the corridor of ruin. Restraint? No, survival demanded new math. Humans didn't bluff, they innovated under fire. Back aboard Phantom, Vance stood. Debrief in 10. Park Kwon outstanding. Juno plot next rally. Crew nodded, fatigue masked by focus. One button press. Physics problem solved for the enemy. But Voss's intercept followed them into slip space. Phantom, we know your secret. Coalition fleets converge. Your war ends here. Vance's eyes narrowed. Secrets. Humans had layers. Engineering prep countermeasures. This war's just warming. Juno layered fresh ghosts into the Navicoms. Park sealed the last breach. Kwon recalibrated the coil. Coalition hunters closed on the Bloom Trail. Voss led them, pride scarred but resolve iron. One ship couldn't rewrite power alone. Phantom dropped from slipspace at Rally Point Bravo. Sensors clear for now. Vance settled into her chair. Fleet command, Phantom actual, sector held, disruptor deployed. Incoming pursuit confirmed. Vectors for reinforcement. Command responded terse. Affirmative, hold position, heavy elements en route. Juno frowned at projections. Voss regroups in 12 hours, full battle line. Park chimed in, ships green across the board. Disruptor at 20% cooldown. Kwon added quietly, next shot risks cascade, but we built redundance. Vance traced the holomap. Voss chased shadows, but humans turned pursuit into ambush. Arm backups, Juno doctrine profile on Voss. Textbook aggressor, Juno said. Overcommits to prove dominance, predictable. A new ping hit sensors, coalition scouts vanguard of the hunter pack, interceptors swarmed. Here they come, Vance said. Pattern epsilon by time. Phantom danced again, point defenses singing. Scouts probed, died. Debris trail lengthened. Voss watched from afar, fury building. Tighten the net, that heat signature leads to their grave. His fleet accelerated, a noose reforming, but Phantom's ghosts multiplied. Scouts vanished into illusions. Juno grinned. They're chasing math now. Park reported, all systems nominal, we're ghosts with teeth. Vance authorized the next layer. Kwon, secondary bays, low yield only. The engineer complied. Subtle pulses warped incoming scans. Coalition pursuit fragmented. Hours ticked. Voss pounded his bulkhead. Phantoms again, real or not. Tactical. Mix, losses mounting. Press, Voss roared. Phantom held, bleeding them dry. Reinforcements pinged inbound, human heavies. Vance smiled faintly. One press started it. Teamwork finished. Voss's fleet crested the horizon, guns hot. But human carriers materialized, squadrons launching. The Admiral cursed. Balance shifted. Deterrence, rethink, restraint, survival first. Phantom's bridge hummed. Victory earned, not gifted, yet Kwon's console beeped. Treaty auditors inbound, disrupt. Gravlances incoming. Juno barked from tactical. Captain Mara Vance gripped her command chair. The holomap flared red. Coalition beams stabbed through the void, locking onto Phantom's last energy signature. Admiral Voss's counterbattery hammered the debris field where her ship had ghosted moments before. Residual trace from the pulse, Kwon murmured, fingers flying over his console. He's adapting fast. Vance nodded once. Juno, profile update. Textbook aggressor, Juno replied, eyes locked on her readouts. Overcommits to dominance, but this volley's tighter, he's profiling us back. The ship shuddered. Alarms wailed as gravlances clipped a drifting scout husk. Phantom's hull groaned under the strain. Park status, Vance snapped. Lieutenant Selene Park's voice crackled over comms from engineering. 2 compartments ruptured, ma'am. Portside auxiliary bays, sealing now. Vance watched the schematic. Red zones pulsed on the holomap. Park's teams swarmed the breaches, manual welds, power reroutes. No panic, just work. Thrusters offline, Park added. Manual overrides engaging. Give me 30 seconds. Juno's hands danced across controls. Rotating now, Captain, using that debris mass as cover. Their fire arcs will cross their own formation. Phantom pivoted hard. Acceleration pinned Vance to her seat. The ship slung around a kilometer-wide chunk of twisted metal, remnants of Voss's lost scouts. Enemy beams lanced through the gap, but now they threaded their own picket line. Coalition sensors lit up with friendly fire warnings. 2 interceptors vaporized in the crossfire. Voss's fleet fragmented, ships jinking to evade their own barrage. Juno's lips twitched. Predictable math, they're bunching up. Vance allowed a tight smile. Good, Quan low-yield secondaries holding? Affirmative, the engineer said. His voice stayed even, but sweat beaded on his brow. Treaty limits intact. Auditors won't ping us yet. The holomap updated. Voss's flagship, a hulking Kazari battlecruiser, pushed forward, its grav lances recharged, signatures spiking. They're recalibrating, Juno warned, targeting the debris pivot point. Vance leaned forward. Human carriers hung at the system's edge, squadrons vectoring in. But Voss's noose tightened first. Phantom needed an edge. Options, she said. Juno tapped the map. Their fire control node, that frigate cluster at 047, it's coordinating the lances. Destroy it, they scatter, but... Seize it, Vance finished. Steal their eyes. Juno's gaze sharpened. Boarding pods, risky under fire. Park broke in. Thrusters back online, hull sealed, we're green. Vance hit the authorization key. Launch pods, Alpha team to the node. Quan, authorize breaching charges, treaty-compliant yields. Pods rocketed from Phantom's bays. Silent arrows in the black. Coalition defenses twitched, but the debris screen bought seconds. On the holomap, pods streaked true. Enemy point defenses spat fire. One pod tumbled, breached. But three slammed into the frigate cluster's command frigate. Boarders cut through hull plating. Marines in powered exosuits flooded the node corridors. Vance watched the feeds. Grainy helmet cams showed close quarters chaos. Coalition troops scaled Kazari and chitin-plated Vexari met human steel. Pulse rifles cracked. Breaches sealed with foam charges. Node secured, came the squad lead's voice. Fire control hours, shutting down their targeting net. Coalition lances went wild. Beams carved empty space. Voss's fleet fired blind. Admiral Carrot Voss roared on his bridge. What sorcery is this? Tactical officer flinched. Fire control frigate offline, internal signals, boarding action. Voss slammed a fist into his console. Humans. Bluffing ghosts turned thieves. His net unraveled. Regain control, he bellowed. Flank the carriers, crush the escorts. But Phantom danced free. Pods returned, no data streaming aboard. Juno decrypted the feeds. Their full formation profiles, doctrine overlays. Voss is pushing for decapitation straight at us. Vance absorbed it. Human heavies inbound, carriers launching, we hold the center. Park reported from below, damage minimal, rerouting power to shields, ready for next burn. Quan hesitated. His console blinked, treaty auditors closing. Captain, the forbidden systems? Not yet, Vance said. Earn it. Voss's fleet reformed, slower now. Interceptors screened his heavies. Grav lances probed cautiously. He'd tasted human teeth. Phantom slipped behind fresh debris. Sensors painted illusions, ghost signatures multiplying. Coalition pursuit stuttered. Ships hesitated, cross-checking real from fake. Juno grinned. They're rethinking, deterrence cracking. Vance watched Voss's flagship accelerate. The Admiral committed. Battlecruisers led the charge, weapons hot. Pattern Delta, she ordered. Park, brace for impacts. Enemy fire rained. Phantom twisted, point defenses flaring. A lance grazed the hull, shields buckled. Park's teams swarmed again. Breaches contained, power shunted. Vance keyed shipwide. Steady, we turn their strength against them. Pod's data revealed Voss's blind spots. Juno plotted intercepts. Phantom darted, forcing the fleet to fire through its own wings. Two cruisers collided in the chaos. Explosions bloomed. Voss cursed. Pull back. Regroup, his tactical. Humans have our eyes, boarding teams inside the node. Counterboard? Voss snarled, but doubt crept in. Humans didn't destroy. They stole, adapted, survived. Phantom's bridge thrummed. Carriers closed, fighters swarming coalition flanks. Vance eyed Quan. Auditors? 2 minutes out, he said. We need to disrupt their scan, she nodded. Secondary bays, full authorization, just this once. Quan punched the release. Hidden emitters hummed to life. Subtle warp fields bent incoming auditor probes, treaty ghosts. Coalition fleet wavered. Voss's push faltered as human squadrons struck. They're breaking, Juno said. Vance stood. Not yet, press the node, make them feel it. Boarders pushed deeper. Node feeds showed coalition commands scrambling. Human marines sealed bulkheads, hacked overrides. Voss watched his net dissolve. Scouts died to phantom fire. Carriers loomed. Humans humble in signal, ferocious in act. Restraint, he muttered. Survival first. Orders flashed. Disengage, fall back to horizon. Phantom held position. Victory solidified. But Quan's console pinged again. Auditors pierced the warp barely. They're logging anomalies. We bought time, not forgiveness. Vance sat back. Good enough, Juno log Voss's retreat vector. The holomap cleared, Coalition shadows fled. Park climbed to the bridge, wiping grease from her hands. Ship's alive, Captain. Teamwork earned, yet sensors pinged anew. Voss's reinforcements distant but closing, and auditors demanded docking. Vance's jaw set. The hidden weapons stirred deeper. Treaty be damned if survival called. Juno leaned in. Next profile, they're scared now, predictable fear. Vance allowed the ghost of a smile. Then we teach them restraint. Boarding feeds cut as Marines extracted. The node frigate drifted, blind and silent. Coalition wrecks dotted the field. Vance studied the replay. Voss had adapted once. Humans stole twice. Launch drone swarm, she said. Seed their retreat path with ghosts. Drones spat out, mimicking heat blooms. Coalition sensors lit with phantoms anew. Voss, light years out, saw the signatures multiply. Illusions again. Tactical. Mix confirmed. Losses if we engage. He clenched his mandibles. Human ingenuity, not bluff, real. Full retreat. Signal the Coalition. Renegotiate deterrence. Back on Phantom, Quan powered down the emitters. Treaty breach minimal, but auditors will probe. Park sealed the last hatch. Hull patched, ready for slip. Vance keyed fleet comms. Carriers acknowledged. Heavies jumped in system. Balance rewritten. Under fire, humans endured. But the war zone hummed. Voss would return, smarter, Juno plotted. Their next doctrine caution, we exploit it. Vance nodded. Impossible odds, just a checklist. The bridge fell quiet. Victory's edge gleamed, sharp, secret, auditor shuttle hailed. USS Phantom prepare for inspection. Quan glanced up. Stall them? Vance smiled faintly. Truth first, ghosts later. Coalition command echoed Voss's report. Admirals stirred. Human warship non-existent no more. Deterrence, fractured, restraint, mandatory, survival. Question everything. Phantom slipped away, carriers screening. The hidden weapon waited, locked tight, until next fire. Juno's console pinged. Keys extracted, Captain. Full Coalition fleet encryption. Captain Mara Vance gripped her command chair. Screens flickered with decrypted streams. The captured sensor node, scooped mid-battle, yielded its secrets. Coalition signatures swarmed, 50 heavies escorts tight. Admiral Voss's flagship pulsed at the core. Talk to me, Commander, Vance said. Juno's eyes narrowed. Data scrolled in her mind like code. Voss's doctrine, decapitation. He's seen our ghosts. Thinks we're bluffing the big gun. Last gambit, overwhelmed with massed fire. Vector predicts Alpha strike in 60 seconds. All batteries on us. Vance nodded once. Phantom shuddered under evasive thrust. Hull groaned. Park's teams crawled conduits below, rerouting power. No time for chatter. Helm inverted spiral. Keep our belly to their van. Weapons, target emitters only. Precision locks. Quan hunched at his station. Quiet fingers danced over forbidden panels. The superweapon hummed in Phantom's spine, a treaty-locked beast. Meson disruptors tuned for ships. One twitched too far and it cracked hulls like eggs. Auditors watched from afar, always. Dr. Quan, Vance said. Throttle to band 3. Non-lethal cascade. Emitters first, reactors spared. Quan paused, sweat beaded. Band 3 risks feedback loop, but viable, authorizing now. Energy surged. Phantom's belly glowed faint violet. Beams lanced out, not killing strokes, but surgical pulses. Coalition dreadnoughts bucked. Weapon turrets sparked and died. Fire control nodes fried. Ships veered blind. Park's voice crackled. Breaches on decks 4 and 7, sealing. Power shunted to shields 90%. Good work, Lieutenant. Hold her together. Vance watched the tally. Emitters dark across 30 hulls. Crews lived, reactors cold, airlocks intact. No mass graves in the void. Humans fought smart, not savage. Coalition comms erupted in decrypted chaos. Voss's voice boomed, gravel over alien harmonics. Phantom bluffs no more, but we end this. A pause, mandibles clicked audible. All ships self-scuttle in 10, cores overload, take your prize to hell with you. Juno's head snapped up. He's daring us, Captain. Finish him now, superweapon full bore. One shot wipes the fleet. Vance's jaw tightened. Screens showed Coalition engines flare. Countdown holograms bloomed on enemy bridges. 50 ships, 10,000 souls. Phantom's disruptor could end it. Annihilate, rewrite power clean, but not today. Negative, Quan, retarget to engine baffles. Pulse their drives offline. Helm close to knife range. Quan blinked. Captain, now Doctor. Hands blurred, violet beams shifted. Coalition engines stuttered, ships listed powerless. Scuttle timers froze as overrides kicked in. Crews scrambled alive. Park whooped over comms, shields holding, minor hull stress patching. Voss's channel hacked open, his flagship loomed, weapons dead. Human, you spare us, why? Vance leaned in. Because deterrence isn't extinction, Admiral, rethink your math, we're here when you return. Silence then, Coalition acknowledges, stand down. Juno smirked. He's routing, fleet vectors shifting, retreat formation. Phantom drifted amid the wreckage, disabled hulks tumbled silent. No kills, victory carved from restraint, but alarms spiked anew. Fresh signatures, Coalition reinforcements. No, Juno cross-checked. Ghosts holding, Captain, our drones fooled their scouts. Vance exhaled. Launch second swarm, seed their path home. Drones spat from tubes, mimic blooms lit enemy sensors, phantoms multiplied. Light years out, Voss's bridge tensed. Signatures again, mix confirmed real and fake. His tactical officer chittered. Engage risks losses, full retreat advised. Voss clenched mandibles. Humans turned defeat to lesson. Bluff, no, genius. Signal high command, renegotiate. Deterrence fractures. Back aboard Phantom, Quan-powered emitters down. Treaty breach 0.003%. Auditors will sniff but clean. Park sealed the final hatch. Hull green, slip ready. Vance keyed open channel. Human carriers chimed in. Heavies jumped in system, screens thickening. Juno plodded ahead. Their doctrine shifts to caution, we own the gap. Vance rose, bridge crew watched. Impossible odds checked off. One by one, auditor shuttle hailed. USS Phantom, prepare boarding. Quan glanced up. Vance smiled thin. Truth first, ghosts later. Coalition command reeled from Voss's burst. Admirals stirred. The non-existent warship lived. Exposed, deterrence, shattered, restraint. Human lesson burned in. Survival, question every shadow. Phantom slipped voidward, carriers veiling. The hidden blade slept, locked, primed for next fire, but Voss adapted fast. Juno's console whispered new decrypts. Captain, incoming probe, he's testing our edge. Vance's eyes hardened. Let him probe, we rewrite the board. Engines thrummed, war zone hummed alive, Park's teams drilled below decks, welders sparked. Next hit, we bounce harder. Quan recalibrated, bands tightened, treaty danced on knife edge, Juno fed predictions. Voss gambles conservative now, we push aggressive. Vance paced. Fleet grew, Coalition ghosts haunted their own scans, human ingenuity stacked odds, hours blurred, probes danced close. Phantom ghosted silent, one faint drone swarmed, probes scattered. Voss, plotting return, gnashed. They predict us, invert doctrine. His fleet rebuilt. Cautious, vast, Phantom's bridge stayed ice calm. Vance studied hollows. They're learning restraint, good, we teach survival. Juno nodded. Next clash, our rules. Auditors boarded, scanned emitters, Quan stone-faced. All nominal. They left puzzled, logs clean. Vance watched them go. Juno, new keys. Always, Captain. War zone waited, balance tilted human. Under fire they endured, excelled, but deep scan pinged. Voss's shadow fleet massed, smarter, hungrier, Vance gripped rails. Battle stations, alarms wailed. The hidden weapon stirred, Juno's voice cut sharp. They're here, full force. Vance smiled, checklist ready. Coalition fire bloomed, Phantom danced. Violet hinted, restraint held for now. Voss dared again, end them. But humans chose victory's sharper edge. Park sealed bulkheads. We're unbreakable. Quan throttled up. Band 4 viable. Juno predicted. Their bluff crumbles. Vance ordered. Strike. Beams flashed. Emitters died anew. Cores spared. Voss triggered overrides. Self-scuttle. Drives failed. Again, he stared screens. Impossible. Human comms. Rethink, Admiral. Fleet drifted. Humbled. Phantom ghosted free. Carriers flanked. Deterrence reborn. Human style. War hummed on. Voss vowed return. Juno plotted. We wait. Vance nodded, victory's gleam sharpened, auditors hailed again. Anomaly detected. Quan hid smile, truth bent, ghosts eternal, the void watched, humans wrote rules, aliens read and wondered, next fire loomed, Phantom armed, ready, Voss's command echoed doubt. What are they? His answer, everything, balance held, fragile, human. Captain Vance's mag boots clamped onto the Coalition flagship's hull breach. Sparks flew from Park's plasma torch as she sliced through the final layer of emergency plating. Alarms blared inside, shrill alien tones that grated like claws on steel. Charges first, Vance ordered. Her gloved hand gripped the zero-G tether. Park nodded, sweat beading under her helmet visor despite the chill. The field team, 4 engineers in sealed suits, pushed through the ragged hole. Coalition Marines lay slumped nearby, tranq darts from the Phantom's boarding pods protruding from neck seals. Vance swept her carbine left. Clear. Right. Motion. A Carrot officer lunged from shadows, claws extended. She fired once. He crumpled. Park, move. Park dropped to her knees beside the scuttle charges. Glowing red conduits pulsed along the bulkhead, rigged to vaporize the bridge core. These are treaty-band multifuses. Voss doesn't bluff. Her torch whined. Metal bubbled. Vance covered the corridor. Footsteps echoed, heavy-armored, more Marines. She thumbed her comm. Juno, status? From the Phantom, light years parsed into milliseconds. Boarding secure, Captain. I've looped their internal cams. Coalition commands blind. Transmitting first strike proof now, logs from their Alpha carrier. Unedited. Vance's HUD flickered. Data streamed, Voss's orders, timestamped pre-Phantom contact. Proof of aggression. Good, hit every neutral relay, force the vote. Park severed the first conduit. A charge beep diffused. One down, these bastards layered them triple thick. Marines burst around the corner. Vance's team fired in sync. Dart clouds filled the air, bodies hit deck. Vance advanced, carbine barking. Park faster. Admiral Voss's voice boomed from overhead speakers. Humans, your ghost ship ends here. My fleet converges. Surrender the breach. Vance smirked under her visor. Tell your Marines to stand down, Admiral. We're saving your ass. She kicked a fallen weapon aside. Park sliced the second charge. Sparks showered. On the Phantom's bridge, Commander Juno watched screens bloom with data bursts. Her fingers danced over consoles. Coalition channels lit up, proof packets slamming into high command nets. Captain votes live, neutrals shifting. Ceasefire threshold hit in 60 seconds. Lieutenant Park's voice cut in. Second charge cold, third's the daisy chain, links to the drive core. Vance knelt beside her. Cut it clean. The torch bit deep, conduits fizzled, the final beep silenced. Vance stood. Charges neutralized. Park, seal the breach behind us. We're extracting. Park slapped a patch kit over the hole. Hull's holding, ma'am, but they're Atmos venting. They'll need EVA suits soon. Vance keyed shipwide. Quan, weapons bay status? Deep in the Phantom's guts, Doctor. Quan monitored the violet emitters. Screens glowed with activation logs, banned 4 pulses that had shredded incoming torpedoes without trace. His hands locked the bay seals. Locked, Captain. Data recorded. Full spectrum yields, no blowback. Treaty compliant. On paper. He uploaded the packet. Deterrence archive, proof of restraint amid superiority. One press and it beamed to human command. Future admirals would study this, rethink their bluffs. Excellent, Vance said. Juno, plot ghost jump. Classified vector, now. Juno's voice sharpened. Plotted coalition carriers inbound, ETA 2 minutes. Cameras hot. Vance's team retracted tethers, grapples released with a shudder. The Phantom's silhouette loomed against stars, scarred but unbroken. Park sealed the last hatch. Team aboard, green across. Vance strapped into her command throne. Acceleration pinned her. Punch it! The ship twisted. Inertial dampers hummed. Coalition fire lanced past, desperate, wild shots from Voss's remnants. Phantom's point defense webs flickered, violet hints dancing at edges. Emitters spared the cores again. Vance watched her plot. Voss's flagship drifted, scuttle averted, fleet hung in formation, weapons cold, ceasefire vote locked in, war paused. Admiral Voss, she hailed open channel. Your first strike's public, rethink deterrence, we're gone. Voss's face filled the main screen, scaled features twisted in fury, then dawning calculation. What are you, that ship? Non-existent. Vance's smile was steel. Classified, live to fight smarter. Screen blanked. Juno leaned in. Jump in 10. Auditors inbound, coalition probes vectoring. Quan patched through. Emitters spooled down, no signatures. Park reported from engineering. Breaches sealed, power rerouted, we're unbreakable. Vance gripped rails, ghost us out. Space folded, stars smeared. The Phantom vanished into classified black, human-only lanes, treaty forbidden by design. Coalition sensors pinged empty void. Voss stared at his bridge screens. Empty. His Marines stirred, darts wearing off. Damage report. Officers scrambled. Scuttles cut, hull patched. No intruders. He slammed a fist. Humans boarded us, saved us from ourselves. Fury ebbed, awe crept in. Their ship danced fire like math, restraint sharper than blades. All ships stand down, ceasefire holds. High command feeds buzzed, neutrals demanded inquiry. Voss's first strike proof burned across nets. Balance rewritten. On the Phantom, Vance exhaled. Bridge lights dimmed to stealth mode. Damage assessment, Park, minor, repaired en route. Juno plotted next shadow. War zone stable, Voss licks wounds. Quan archived final logs. Deterrence data secure, they won't probe deep again. Vance nodded. Humans endured, excelled. The ship, a problem by existing, stayed hidden. Victory's edge gleamed, auditor probes ghosted past empty space. Puzzled scans, no anomaly. Voss vowed return, but doubt lingered. Humans wrote rules anew. The void hummed. Phantom waited. Armed, ready, Lieutenant Park wiped grease from her hands in the engineering bay. Bulkheads gleamed, fresh welds holding at triple pressure. She checked readouts. Power flows balanced, emitters dormant. Park to bridge, she said. All green, ships purring. Vance's voice, acknowledged, standby for deep scan. Park grinned. Unbreakable, that's what she did. Commander Juno cross-checked vectors. Enemy doctrine crumbled to patterns predictable as code. She pushed keys. New keys spinning, Captain. Auditors blind. Captain Vance watched the main plot. Coalition fleet reformed, humbled. They stopped the war, saved the enemy. Now disappear, because the Phantom breathed problems into existence. Hidden weapon, human ingenuity. Tactical gods among stars. Status, Voss demanded on his bridge. Sensors officer hesitated. Ghost signature gone, human ship erased, Voss paced. They boarded, cut my charges, transmitted my orders, he stopped. Why save us? Bridge fell silent, no answer fit. Doctor. Quan sealed the last weapons log. Band 4, viable, future-proof. He hid his smile, truth bent, ghosts eternal. Vance leaned back. Helm maintained shadow, war waits. Alarms quieted, crew breathed, victory sharpened. Coalition command voted, ceasefire passed, Voss stared void. Rethink survival, Phantom slipped deeper. Balance held, human hand unseen, but ready. Park ran final diagnostics. A hull ping, residual heat faded. She patched it, seamless. Juno fed Quan fresh sims. Next clash, their rules break, he nodded. Ours hold. Vance gripped console. Checklist complete. Odds beaten. Fleet massed afar. Voss plotted revenge. Humans plotted patience. Void watched. Humans excelled. Auditors reported null. Puzzled, Phantom armed, eternal. Voss whispered, what are they? Everything. Captain Vance's eyes gleamed. Juno status on ceasefire. Locked. Neutrals in force. Good. Quan Bay secure. Locked. Park ship status. Unbreakable. Vance smiled. Ghost complete. Ship vanished. War stopped. Enemy saved. Problem solved by erasing themselves. Next fire loomed. They waited, ready. Voss's fleet drifted. Humbled, rethinking. Humans wrote the rules. Aliens read and wondered. Balance tilted. Human.